I want to introduce you to our next speaker, our commencement speaker, Governor Kasich. I've known literally for very many years, and when I asked him to do this, he commented that he doesn't particularly do a lot of commencements and said he wouldn't consider not doing this one. And the reason is a couple. You will have had no other speaker more committed to the ecot idea than Governor Kasich. You will find no one more committed than giving parents and students the choices on the way they want to be educated, how they're to be educated, and what they're to do in life. He is a firm supporter of ours, an ardent vanguard for students who are struggling, as well as those students who are gifted. With his help, we see nothing but clear sailing. With his help, we believe that we can continue the idea that started in this city 11 years ago, which made us the first online school in the country. I want to take a moment and have you view our introduction. Thank you.
Johnny was never afraid to take a stand. The courage of conviction burned inside this skinny little kid as he grew up in the blue-collar town of McKees Rocks. His principled beliefs and passion would lead to his election as state senator, United States representative, and Ohio governor. Today, the challenges are new, but time hasn't changed John Kasich. Husband and father of two, he knows young people are the foundation for Ohio's future, and there is no better calling than giving them hope and opportunity. With a focus on giving children the greatest chance to succeed, Kasich believes in the right of parents to choose the best school for their child. He believes in improving our schools by rewarding good teachers and properly assessing our children's performance. Kasich has fought to put money back in the classrooms and to make the latest technology available to teachers to create a 21st century workforce, preparing our children for the jobs of the future. A record of service, a leader in public policy, the Governor of Ohio, John Kasich.
Well, you know, that's a very nice introduction, but I want to tell the graduates really a story of how I had the opportunity to be in public service. I came here from McKees Rocks, and my father did carry mail on his back, carried it on his back for 29 years. I grew up in a little town where if the wind blew the wrong way, people found themselves out of work. It was a struggle. It wasn't impossible, but it was a challenge. My mother was sort of a blue-collar housewife, in and out of the workforce, depending on what the heck was going on with us kids. And one day my mother said to me, "Johnny, what do you think about when you graduate? Think about going to Ohio State." I said, "Well, I didn't know much about it," and came out here and visited it and loved it. And then I enrolled here at Ohio State, and I remember when my parents drove me here on a Sunday and dropped me off. I was all alone, and I was right in a tower right down the street, the Morrill Tower, 21 floors high, or I'm sorry, 23 floors high. I was on about the 21st floor, and I had 15 college roommates. Now, if you think getting through ecot is tough, you ought to try to go to college with 15 college roommates stuffed in a tiny little dorm room. And the Morrill Tower was filled with all 18-year-old freshman boys and girls who had never been away from home before, and right next door was a duplicate tower, all filled with 18-year-old freshman boys and girls who had never been away from home before. And I came to find out, the mothers and fathers that are here today, that in downtown Columbus, they used to refer to the towers as Sodom and Gomorrah, and kind of inherited its name. Well, I was there for a very short period of time, and something happened I didn't like, and I decided, you know, the old mailman's son, that I'm going to go fix it. So I started to go to the people who were in charge, and they wouldn't listen to me in the dorm room, and they wouldn't listen to me at the next level and the next level. And one day I announced to my roommates, I said, "I'm just going to go have a meeting with the president of the university." So I called his office, and they wouldn't let me in. So I called it day after day after day, and the secretary would not let me in. And I said, "Lady, you got to understand, I'm not going to stop calling." She said, "Well, why don't you just come on over tomorrow?" So I put my hair up under my hat, and I put on my best blue jeans, my blue jean shirt and a necktie, and went over to see the president of the university. And I walked in to meet him, and it was very impressive. He had a big office, a beautiful carpet, great desk. It was, you know, in some ways it was intimidating. We shook hands, and he said, sit down and tell me what's on your mind. What is your concern? And I expressed it to him, and I said, you know, Dr. Fawcett, I've been here at Ohio State for about, 45, 50 days, and I really don't know what I want to do. I said, but looking at the secretary, the carpeting, the desk, the table, the chandelier, maybe this is the job for me, being president of a university. What exactly do you do? So he started to tell me about all of his responsibilities, fundraising, academics, and this was in 1970. And he said, well, tomorrow I'm going to have the privilege of flying to Washington, and I'm going to have a meeting with the President of the United States, because I was one of the only college presidents to have supported the President. And I said, well, sir, there are a number of things that I would like to tell him also. Do you think I could go with you? And he said, no. And I said, well, if I go back to my dorm room and write a letter to the President of the United States, could you give it to him? Now, he had never seen me before, but you know, if you don't ask, they can never say no. And he said, well, I guess I could do that. So I went back to my dorm room and I did a critique of the Nixon presidency, how I thought he was doing. And then I signed a letter, sincerely, John Kasich, P.S. If you'd like to discuss this further, you know, let me know. I'll come see you. I got time, you know. So a couple weeks later, I go down to my mailbox. And there, sure enough, I can see through the glass window of the mailbox, there's a letter from the White House. So I pull the letter out. I read it, I go upstairs into my dorm room, and I call home to McKees Rocks, and my mother answers the phone. And I said, Mom, I just got a letter from the President of the United States. He would like me to fly to Washington and have a meeting with him in the Oval Office. And my mother is shouting, honey, pick up the phone, there's something wrong with Johnny. So we had a debate in the Kasich household about whether this was a ruse or a trick or something. And the meeting was scheduled for right around Christmas, and I went home from Ohio State for my first quarter break, and my parents finally said, okay, Johnny, we're going to send you to Washington, but we really don't believe this is going to happen. And they drove me to the Pittsburgh airport, and I remember I was in the back seat of the car, and I got out, my mother round down the window, and she looked at me, she said, no, honey, when you get down to Washington, they're not going to let you in. But I'll be here at the phone, you call me, everything will be okay. So I get in the plane, I fly to Washington, I get a car, I go up to the White House gate. I said, hi, I'm John Kasich, I'm here for a meeting with the President of the United States. And the guy looks at me, and he looks at his clipboard, he says, come on in. So they open up the gate, and I said to him, sir, do you have a phone I could use? And he said, well, young man, you're scheduled to have a meeting with the President of the United States. Who do you have to call? I said, I got to call my mother and let her know I got in. So, Mom, I made it, you know? So I walk inside in the White House, and I'm sitting right outside the Oval Office. And a man walks up to me, and he says, young man, you're going to get 5 minutes with the President of the United States. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it, Bill Lauger? 5 minutes is 18, same age you are, with the President of the United States. Holden, what do you think? Sound pretty good? Let me tell you what I'm thinking. I got a new shirt, a new tie, new pants. I'm not coming out in 5 minutes, okay? I didn't come all this way for 5 minutes, so they open up the door to the Oval Office. And I walk in, and there's the President. And they say, Mr. President, this is John Kasich. John Kasich, the President of the United States. We shake hands in the middle of the Oval Office, and we sit down, and I spent almost 20 minutes as an 18-year-old college freshman with the most powerful man in the world. That's the good news. The bad news is I spent 18 years as a congressman. If you add up all the time that I spent in the Oval Office, I peaked out at the age of 18 and should have gone to work for ecot. Now, I tell that story because in many ways, Halden, it really represents some of what you had to say today. You don't take no for an answer. Now, these commencements, I've been doing them for 30 years, and they're very special to me. You know, I had an opportunity to walk down the road to your colleagues and to your family members and I look every one of them in the eye, and you know what goes through my mind? What's going to happen to them? What are they going to become? What are they going to do? Am I really talking to somebody here who's going to change the world? And changing the world is not just about hitting a home run with the bases loaded. Maybe you change the world in one kid's life. And maybe that one kid grows up to become a doctor and finally comes up with a cure for Alzheimer's or AIDS. And I look at each of you, and I wonder and I pray that you're going to have a full life and a life with a personal mission. You know, the thing that's so great about ecot is it takes you where you are. And it gives you an opportunity to develop yourself as a person. Thank God for Bill Logger, the teachers, the staff that are here. They are dedicated people, and I think you all know it. And the simple fact of the matter is they've given you the opportunity and the tools to be successful in your life. And I know this. We've got a young lady here, she's a mom, she's working full-time, she's getting a degree. Wow. Wow. There are people here who are graduating who have been challenged. And it's never always been very easy to get through the challenges well, we heard it from Julie, and we heard it from Halden. Sometimes it's really tough. But you know what? Today's a day to really be proud of yourself. Sometimes we don't celebrate the victories that we have. This is a day to give you confidence. This is a day to give you purpose. This is a day to believe that you can be what you want to be. And for challenges, as I tell my little 11-year-old daughters, two ways to look at them. You can either shrink from your challenges, or you can face up to them and they make you stronger to face the next set of challenges, because I got news for you. The challenges keep coming in this world. Don't buckle. Get stronger with every single challenge that you can accomplish. Let me tell you another thing. Surround yourself with people who tell you what you can do. Supporters. Dear friends who say, oh no, I know you can do that. Sometimes the people who are closest to us are the people that have the hardest time seeing what we can become. Don't tolerate the negative ones. If they want to be negative, say thank you very much, but please keep your comments to yourself. Surround yourself with people that tell you that you can reach your hopes and dreams, and people who love you and will support you to get you where you want to go. Reach for the stars. You know, if you shoot low, you can't finish high. And if you shoot high, God only knows where you can end up. So no matter what you want to be, just some little kid from a little village in some faraway place in Ohio, shoot for the stars. We have an astronaut, the first man to walk on the moon from Wapakoneta, Ohio. You can be what you want to be, but you have to shoot for your hopes and your dreams. You know, as I was getting ready to come here, I was on a treadmill, and I thought about how to say this. I want to give you a gift today. Best gift I can give you. Sometimes we open up gifts and we say, well, what the heck is that, right? And we smile and say thank you. But I want to give you a gift. And I don't want, and everybody doesn't have to buy into this, but I want to give you my gift, the best gift that I can give you. In 1987, my mother and father were killed by a drunk driver. And I was in a very black hole, in a very dark place. And somebody came to me and they said to me, John, where are you on your eternal destiny? Do you have a relationship with the Creator, with the Lord? And I hesitated, because I'd gone to church as a kid, and you go in there and you do this and you do that, and maybe you get a sense of feeling from time to time. But I never really understood it until that day in 1987 where I had nowhere else to go. And so I have spent the last 24 years of my life in a very purposeful way to figure out whether I really believe there is a Creator. And if in fact there is a creator, what's the deal with this guy? What's the deal with the creator? How's he going to work with me, and how am I going to work with him? And I have concluded, not on the basis of hope or rabbit's foots or anything else, yeah, there is a creator. And look at some of your own lives to understand the blessings that you have. And here's the purpose of this. Every single one of you has a purpose. You were put on this earth to help heal this world. I have no doubt in my mind about it. And in order for us to be able to help become a part of healing this world, we have to find that special gift that our Creator gave us. Every single one of you have something that no other human being on this earth today has. You're unique and you are special in the eyes of the Creator. And when you open that present, and when you find that gift, and when you use it, I can tell you that satisfaction in life comes from carrying out that purpose and that mission. Now, many of you in this class today have come from some tough surroundings. You wonder, does anybody love me? Can I ever really get to where I want to get to? Well, with friends and a relationship with our Creator, who's with us through thick and thin, and sometimes we can't figure out why the thick and the thin is here. We can't understand it, but He does. He does understand it, and that's where the challenges come from, to make us stronger and tougher as an individual, and then to use the skills that we have been given to become part of healing our world, fixing our creation, a broken time in this world. You can be part of the answer, whether you are a doctor, whether you're a teacher, or whether you're a mechanic. You see, it's all about being part of that healing, and you'll find out what it is, and it will make you strong, and it will give you a satisfying and peaceful life if you can grab onto this. Now, you know, I don't wear a collar, and I'm not a preacher. I'm just a public servant right now, but you know what? More important than being a public servant, I'm a servant of the Lord. And every day I think about, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to be? Some of you will hear this and not think of this again, but some of you may hear this, and how do you find it out? Maybe you talk to an adult, maybe you talk to a friend. But I am giving you the most precious gift that I can offer to you, and that is a sense of direction, peace, hope, and strength. And that allows you to become a center of integrity. In this world today, with so many human failures out there, you know what people search for? Integrity, purpose, not being driven by the wind, but to stand as a center of integrity. You know what? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. It's fantastic. You got a whole lifetime to just blossom and grow and make a big difference. And I pray for your health. I pray for your confidence in your success. Because you know what? Us old folks up on this stage, we're counting on you. You're the future. You're the bedrock. You're the heart of our civilization. And you know what? Because of the road you have traveled, you are better prepared than most people who have never understood the challenges, the difficulties, and the obstacles. You're stronger and better and tougher and more prepared to lead. Good luck. God bless you. And we're all in it together. See you soon. Thank you.